Hey guys, as promised, here's part 2 of the video refreshing the front and rear suspension of my S2000. So I just finished putting together the rear suspension. I'm not going to go too much into detail as far as the front suspension goes, since like I said on my last video, there's plenty of videos here on YouTube as to how to do the front suspension, but I didn't find any on the rear. So it's finally put together. I took everything apart as you saw in the last video, pressed all the bushings out, got everything sandblasted, painted. Pressing the bushings in, yes, there are some that you can actually press by hand. Some of them you gotta get a little creative. If you have a ball joint kit, basically the seat clamp with some attachments, you can probably get them together that way. Definitely having that 12-ton Harbor Freight press helped a lot. Made it much easier, because there are some that you really can't get in by hand, and due to their location on the arms, particularly the shock bushing, there's really not much room, as you can see, in there to get anything in between here. So you gotta get a little creative to press this one in. Now most of it pressed from the top. There's only just a little piece that presses on the inside, but getting the collar through requires some ingenuity as well. A couple of pointers that I want to give you guys as far as putting the rear suspension together if you're doing the bushings on it. If you're using the energy suspension kit, the bushings themselves have numbers and a diagram that tells you where each bushing goes, but the collars themselves don't. I mean, they have a number on the diagram, but they have no number on the actual part itself. So you pretty much kind of got to guesstimate which one goes where. Now, make sure that whichever one you use is flush on both sides of the bushing. Of course, some of them are a little longer, some of them are a little shorter. The only thing that you need to watch out for is this rear ones on the control arm. The shock bushing collar and the rear control arm bushing collar are exactly the same length. The difference is the inner diameter. Now, I had the misfortune of having them backwards. When I went to put them together, I had to take the arm out and swap the collars out, because obviously the one that has the adjustment on it is a little bit bigger than the one that holds the shock. So watch for that one right there. Secondly, when I put this together, I put the control arm, bottom control arm first. Then I put the shock in. Had somebody actually bolt it up there for me just to hold it in place. Then I attached the upper control arm to the knuckle and put that in there. And once I had it set down in place, then I went ahead and installed the track bar as well. Now, when I went to clean the parts, a lot of people actually tap on these sensors to get them out. Like, they tap them right here to try to kind of like twist them a little bit after they take the 10mm bolt out, and they end up breaking because they're so brittle. What I did was I put a socket on the inside of it. That way you don't damage the magnet, and you just tap on it and it comes out quite easily. I was actually able to take all 4 of them out without breaking anything. When you go to put them back together, make sure you clean your ring right here and put a little bit of Scotch-Brite on the tip of the magnet and clean it. That way you get a clean connection. For the time being, it's gonna get dirty again anyways, but at least when you put it together, you want to put it back clean. And then, like it says, put some pressure on it. What I did was I put a level here on top of the control arm, and when the level was right even, and that's when I went ahead and torqued everything to spec. Got my new end links. As you remember from the other video, I had to cut them off because I was really lazy. I didn't want to get them out at the time, so I put new ones in. I put new sway bar bushings in as well. These bolts right here, they were really rusted when I took them out. You can see they look a lot better. The manual does say some of these right here, like this one, is a lock nut and whatnot to get new ones. I don't see the point in getting new ones really. What I did was I put them on an ultrasonic cleaner that I had for cleaning jewelry, and they actually came out quite clean. You can actually see the notches on the washer now. Before you really couldn't. This through bolts that go on your adjustment, this one right here and the one for your track arm as well, make sure you put a lot of anti-seize on the inside, so that way with time they don't get seized up, and when you take your car to get on alignment they tell you, oh, I couldn't adjust the camber on this one or the caster, or because the bolt was seized. You know, that way it's easier to take out. I mean, well, yeah, take out, put back in, but you know, they can actually loosen it up and make the adjustment the way it's supposed to be done. And so yeah, make sure you torque everything back to spec. That's what the book says. Some of these actually have quite high torque values, like this one's right here a 97, this one right there is a 90. This is only a 40. That is I believe it's a 56. You have a 47 here, 37 up top, 43 here, 43 for this one as well, and I actually can't remember the bottom one. Another thing that I see a lot of people struggle with, and I did myself too until I came across these right here. A lot of people struggle to get the original Phillips head bolts out of these things right here. Replace them with hex nuts. Hex screws, actually, my bad. Hex screws. I'm pretty sure this right here will be way easier to remove in the future than a Phillips that gets stripped quite easily. Oh, and when I went to take the dust shields off, the knuckle, that's the last thing I'll tell you about. The 3 bolts, screws that hold them together, they were quite rusted. I couldn't get them with a regular screwdriver, so I ended up investing on a impact screwdriver, the kind that you put down on the screw and then you just tap with a hammer. It just turns quarter of the way, just enough to loosen it up for you to get it out. And I was able to get all 12, all 4 corners out fairly easy that way without breaking anything. But yeah, I just finished my rear suspension today. I'm gonna tackle the front tomorrow, and hopefully have this baby out on the road soon to get a wheel alignment, make sure everything is properly aligned, and continue enjoying it. So that's it, guys. If you have any questions, post them below the video. I'll try to answer them to best I can. It's taken me quite a while because I'm actually, doing this 1 or 2 hours at a time here and there in the afternoons. Really not rushing it, so. But I'm hoping to have this baby on the road sometime this week now, so. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you guys later.